There are moments in life when the world shifts so quickly that your old beliefs about money no longer fit the new reality. 2026 is one of those moments, a year where uncertainty meets opportunity, where confusion meets clarity, where your inner world will matter more than the outer noise. And before we step into the spiritual rules that will guide your financial life in this new era, I want you to do something simple, but revealing. Comment the phrase about money or destiny that you heard the most growing up. Maybe it was, money doesn't come easy, or some people are just lucky, or we're not meant for wealth. Whatever it was, write it. Because once you see that sentence outside your mind, you'll begin to understand how deeply it has shaped your expectations, your fears, and your sense of what is possible. Awareness is the first break in the old programming.
The truth is, most people enter a new year armed with goals, yet unaware of the invisible beliefs sabotaging those goals. They think their challenges are financial, when in reality, their challenges are spiritual. Jewish wisdom teaches that money is not merely a number on a screen. It is an energy that responds to alignment. When your spirit is out of balance, opportunity slips. When your thoughts are scattered, blessing hesitates. When your beliefs contradict your desires, you block the very thing you are asking for. 2026 will reward those who understand this, because the world is moving into a time where outer strategies alone are not enough. People who try to control the external world without mastering their inner world will feel overwhelmed. People who anchor themselves spiritually will see doors open that others assume are closed. Money will follow clarity, stability, and inner direction, not panic, noise, or desperation. I once heard a rabbi say, "The future isn't built by those who wait for it. It's built by those who prepare their hearts for it." That sentence stayed with me. It revealed why some people rise in times of uncertainty, while others freeze. The ones who rise have spiritual structure. They understand that abundance moves toward inner order, the way water moves toward gravity. They are not perfect, but they are aligned. They are not fearless, but they are centered. They are not lucky, but they are anchored to laws older than any financial system on earth. And these laws, the spiritual rules of money, are not theories or metaphors. They are patterns that shape opportunity, peace, intuition, and prosperity. They have been passed down through stories, rituals, prayers, and the quiet resilience of a people who learned long ago that stability begins inside. You are about to learn these rules, not as abstract concepts, but as living forces that will shape your decisions in 2026. But before we begin with the first spiritual rule, there is something deeper you must understand. The new era of money we are stepping into is not a departure from ancient wisdom, it is a return to it. The world is entering a new era of money, fast, unstable, full of shifts that seem unpredictable on the surface, but follow ancient patterns beneath. 2026 is not inventing anything new, it is revealing what has always been true. Money follows spiritual laws before it follows economic ones. And the people who thrive in uncertain times are the ones who understand that the unseen rules the seen. For generations, Jewish wisdom has taught that abundance is not purely transactional, it is relational. It is shaped by your relationship with purpose, with clarity, with trust, with discipline, with speech, and with the divine flow of life itself. When these inner structures are in harmony, the outer world adjusts accordingly. When they are fractured, no amount of strategy can compensate. This is why some people ride waves of uncertainty with strength, while others feel swallowed by them. Their external circumstances may be similar, but their inner frameworks are not. My great-grandfather understood this long before the world became complicated and digital. He lived through economic storms that should have destroyed him. Yet, every time collapse threatened his stability, something unexpected would happen. An opportunity, a connection, a moment of grace. When asked why he seemed protected in times of chaos, he answered with a quiet certainty. The world shakes, but the soul must stay steady. He believed that when the inner world refuses to panic, it becomes a magnet for solutions others cannot see. This is why the spiritual rules of money are more relevant in 2026 than ever before. Algorithms move fast, trends change daily, industries rise and fall without warning. But the laws of spiritual alignment have not changed in thousands of years. You cannot control the economy, but you can command your inner state. You cannot choose what the world does, but you can choose how your soul responds, and that response determines whether opportunities recognize you or pass you by.
The contrast is becoming clearer every year. Those anchored spiritually feel guided. Those anchored only externally feel constantly threatened. Those who trust the unseen find clarity. Those who trust only what they can measure feel lost in the noise. And this is where many people make the first mistake. They believe financial success is about chasing trends, timing markets, or competing harder. But Jewish wisdom says the opposite. Money comes to those who are spiritually prepared for it, not those who frantically chase it. Preparedness opens doors. Panic closes them. You are not stepping into a year that requires more speed. You are stepping into a year that requires more depth. A year where superficial approaches will fail and grounded ones will flourish. A year where ancient wisdom becomes modern strategy.
But before you can apply any rule, you must understand the first and most foundational one, the truth that your financial life does not begin with money at all, but with the state of your inner world. The first spiritual rule of money is as old as Scripture and as relevant as the breath you're taking right now. Money follows your inner state, not your job, not your timing, not your opportunities, your state. Jewish wisdom teaches that the outer world bends toward the energy of the inner one, the same way water flows toward the deepest part of the land. If your inner world is fragmented, anxious, or fearful, your financial life reflects that fragmentation. If your inner world is calm, clear, and aligned, your financial life begins to mirror that clarity. There is a Hebrew word that captures this idea perfectly: kavanah, intention aligned with the heart.
Not just wanting something, but directing your inner self toward it with emotional and spiritual coherence. Without kavanah, decisions become reactive. With kavanah, decisions become guided. And in 2026, when the world's pace will only accelerate, kavanah is no longer optional, it is essential. I once met a woman during a seminar who told me, "I've spent years trying to fix my finances, but nothing sticks." When I asked her what her internal state felt like during that time, she laughed, the kind of laugh people use when they suddenly see something obvious. She said, "Constant panic. I've been trying to organize my life with a heart that feels like it's on fire." That was the first moment she understood the spiritual rule. You cannot build stability on emotional turbulence. Peace is the soil, prosperity is the plant. Turbulent soil cannot sustain growth. Jewish mystics warn that 3 days of inner conflict can undo weeks of progress, not because something mystical punishes you, but because conflict confuses your energy. When your inner world is scattered, one part wanting abundance, another fearing it, another doubting it, you send mixed signals to life itself. Opportunity does not approach confusion, it approaches clarity. Your inner state influences your intuition, your timing, your decisions, your discipline, your creativity, every ingredient that determines financial direction. People think money responds to effort, but effort without alignment is like rowing in opposite directions at the same time. You exhaust yourself, but don't move. This is why the spiritual world emphasizes centering before acting. A calm mind sees pathways. A frantic mind sees dangers. A grounded soul notices solutions others overlook.
A restless soul reacts impulsively and regrets quickly. The difference is never in intelligence. It is always in alignment. So ask yourself, what is the emotional climate inside you when you think about money? Is it fear, pressure, shame, doubt? Or openness, curiosity, steadiness? This climate, more than any strategy, determines the opportunities you recognize and the choices you make. Because once you shift your inner state, your relationship with money changes instantly. You begin to attract clarity, not confusion. You begin to see possibilities, not threats.
You begin to move with intention, not reaction. And this shift opens the door to the second spiritual rule, one so transformative that without it, even alignment cannot create movement. This next rule explains why some people receive opportunities constantly, while others watch those same opportunities pass them by. The second spiritual rule is one of the most powerful, yet one of the most neglected. Clarity creates opportunity. Jewish wisdom teaches that blessings cannot rest on something vague. They cannot find a home in confusion. They cannot grow in ambiguity. A person who is unclear about what they want, why they want it, and what they will do with it becomes spiritually unreachable. Opportunity arrives, looks for a place to land, finds no structure, and moves on. This is why clarity is not a luxury, it is a doorway. The Talmud teaches, a blessing is not found in what is hidden or undefined. Meaning, if your goals are blurry, your outcomes will be blurry. If your desires are scattered, your results will scatter with them.
People often say, I just want more money. But more is not a target, it is a fog. When your aim is foggy, your path disappears into it. Clarity is spiritual geometry. It shapes the outline of your future. I once spoke with a man who told me he had been trying to change his financial life for years, but nothing shifted. I asked him to explain in one sentence what change he actually wanted. He couldn't. He paused, stumbled, offered guesses, half-formed ideas. And in that moment, he understood why he remained stuck. He had been working endlessly on a goal he had never truly defined. Later, after reflecting, he returned with a new sentence. I want financial breathing room so I can make decisions slowly instead of desperately. That clarity unlocked everything. His actions, once scattered, began to align. He recognized opportunities he previously ignored.
His stress decreased not because circumstances changed, but because his direction did. This is the power of clarity. It transforms chaos into alignment, hesitation into action, overwhelm into simplicity. In spiritual language, clarity is a vessel. Without the vessel, the blessing has nowhere to rest. With the vessel, even small blessings expand. Think of clarity as a lantern. It doesn't show you the entire path, just the next few steps. But those steps are enough. Enough to move, enough to stabilize, enough to build momentum. You don't need complete clarity, you need defined clarity. A direction, a purpose, a reason. So ask yourself, what exactly do you want your financial life to look like in 2026? Not generally, specifically. What emotion are you trying to create? What problem are you trying to solve? What version of yourself are you trying to support?
When clarity appears, guidance follows. When clarity disappears, guidance retreats. But here lies the danger. Even with clarity, most people sabotage themselves without realizing it, not through action, but through language. And that brings us to the next spiritual rule, one that explains why countless people remain financially anxious even when their intentions are strong. The third spiritual rule is one that people resist more than any other because it forces them to confront their own participation in their financial stress. Your words shape your wealth, not symbolically, not metaphorically, literally. Jewish wisdom teaches that speech is a creative force, a tool of formation, a spiritual engine that not only describes your life, but constructs it. The stories you repeat become instructions to your mind, and your mind rearranges your behavior to match those instructions.
Think of the phrases most people speak without thought. I'm terrible with money. I always mess this up. It's impossible for me to get ahead. I guess I'm just unlucky. These statements don't simply express frustration. They cement identity. And once identity forms, behavior follows. A person who believes they always fail will unconsciously behave in ways that confirm that belief. A person who believes money slips away will make decisions consistent with loss, not growth. Words become frameworks. Frameworks become patterns. Patterns become fate. Jewish tradition warns that lashon hara, destructive speech, includes not only speaking negatively about others, but speaking destructively about yourself. Why? Because negative speech collapses spiritual structure. It cracks the vessel that is meant to hold blessing. When you speak fear repeatedly, you create internal turbulence.
When you speak doubt repeatedly, you create internal instability, and peace cannot grow in instability. I once worked with a man who constantly joked, "If something can go wrong with my finances, it will." He said it so casually, so frequently, that he believed it was simply humor. But humor becomes prophecy when repeated enough times. His financial life reflected his language: unexpected expenses, missed opportunities, decisions born from panic instead of clarity. Only when he consciously changed his speech, saying instead, "I'm learning to make calmer decisions," or "I'm becoming wiser with money," did his inner world begin to shift. And as his inner world shifted, his outcomes followed. Neuroscience now confirms what ancient sages taught. The brain adapts to repeated statements. Words become mental filters. You begin noticing what matches your language and ignoring what contradicts it.
Chaos and chaos becomes visible. Speak possibility and possibility becomes visible. This is why two people can face the same financial challenge. One spirals, the other stabilizes. Their circumstances are identical, but their inner scripts are not. Peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the consequence of speaking about those problems in a grounded way. So ask yourself, what is the dominant tone of your money language? Do you speak as someone drowning or someone learning? Someone cursed or someone growing? Someone doomed or someone capable? Your language determines which version of you shows up. But even the most powerful language cannot create financial peace without the next spiritual rule, one that shatters the illusion that waiting is wisdom.
Because clarity and strong speech mean nothing if your life remains frozen. The fourth spiritual rule dismantles one of the most seductive illusions people cling to. Waiting is not wisdom. Movement is. Jewish wisdom teaches that blessing flows toward motion, not stagnation. Stillness, when rooted in fear, is not peace. It is paralysis disguised as caution. And paralysis is the silent thief of financial peace. There is an ancient principle called Hishtadlut, the sacred effort each person must contribute before divine assistance can enter. It does not demand struggle or frenzy. It does not require perfection. It simply requires movement, a step, a gesture, a signal that you are participating in your own unfolding. Without movement, even the clearest intentions remain suspended in unrealized potential. Many people confuse inactivity with safety.
They believe that avoiding decisions protects them from mistakes, but avoidance does not prevent suffering. It postpones it and often magnifies it. Inaction breeds anxiety because the mind interprets stillness as danger. When you fail to act, your inner world becomes louder, darker, heavier. But when you move, even gently, the pressure dissolves, the path opens, peace begins. I once met a man who spent 2 years frozen after a financial mistake. He waited for confidence to return, for clarity to appear, for the right moment to make new decisions. But the longer he waited, the smaller he felt. One day, exhausted from his own stagnation, he cleaned a single drawer. That tiny action sparked a shift. The next day, he reviewed one bill. The day after, he made one phone call. Within weeks, momentum replaced paralysis. His circumstances didn't suddenly change. He changed. Movement restored his sense of control, and control restored peace. Modern psychology now echoes this ancient truth. Micro-movement reduces emotional overwhelm, increases cognitive clarity, and reactivates problem-solving centers in the brain. Motion signals safety. Motion signals possibility. Motion interrupts fear. And here is the spiritual secret. You don't need the perfect step. You need the next step. The universe does not respond to fantasies of action. It responds to the action itself. When you move, you create alignment between intention and behavior. That alignment is a spiritual invitation. It says, I am ready for the next piece. And life answers. So ask yourself, where have you confused waiting with wisdom? Where have you told yourself you need more information, more certainty, more confidence, when what you really need is one simple step.
Peace is not born from thinking. It is born from motion. But movement alone cannot sustain peace if the heart remains small and contracted. Fear can push you into action, but only expansion keeps you steady. And this brings us to the next spiritual rule, one that teaches why gratitude attracts and generosity multiplies, creating the emotional foundation for a peaceful life. The fifth and sixth spiritual rules are like twin pillars, quiet, ancient, and unmatched in their power to stabilize your inner world. Gratitude attracts and generosity multiplies. In Jewish wisdom, these are not sentimental ideas. They are spiritual mechanics. They determine the size of your vessel, your capacity to receive, hold, and expand abundance without collapsing under fear or scarcity. Let's begin with gratitude, known in Hebrew as hakarat hatov, the recognition of the good. Gratitude is not denial.
It is not pretending your life is perfect. It is the practice of seeing clearly, of acknowledging the gifts already present instead of obsessing over what's missing. Gratitude widens your emotional field. It softens anxiety, strengthens perspective, and invites clarity. When you recognize the good, you stop leaking energy into panic. And when your energy stabilizes, money responds. But gratitude alone is incomplete. It prepares the soil, but generosity enriches it. Generosity, tzedakah, is often translated as charity, but the true meaning is justice, balance, alignment with the divine flow. When you give, you are not losing, you are participating. You declare, silently but powerfully, I am in the flow of abundance. I trust the cycle. I release fear. Fear contracts the heart. Generosity expands it. And expanded hearts hold more peace, more clarity, more wisdom, more opportunity.
I remember meeting a woman named Ruth, whose relationship with money was dominated by fear. Even when she earned well, she felt unsafe. Her instinct was to hold tightly, to protect, to control. But the tighter she held, the more anxious she became. A mentor eventually told her, "Your hand is so closed that even blessings can't enter." So she began with something tiny, giving the equivalent of a single cup of coffee each week. At first, it felt uncomfortable, even reckless. But slowly, what changed was not her money, but her identity. She began to feel less threatened by life, more open, more grounded. That inner shift changed her decisions, and those decisions changed her financial stability. This is the spiritual equation. Gratitude draws abundance toward you. Generosity keeps your spirit open enough to receive it. Together, they create a cycle of peace instead of panic.
Modern research confirms what the sages taught thousands of years ago. Gratitude reduces stress, increases resilience, sharpens creativity, and improves decision-making. Generosity strengthens emotional well-being, builds connection, and rewires the brain toward abundance instead of scarcity. These practices do not make you wealthier instantly. They make you peaceful, and peaceful people make wiser choices. So here's your simple ritual. Each morning, name 3 specific things you are grateful for, not categories, details. Then choose one act of generosity each week. It can be financial or emotional, grand or subtle. What matters is movement, not magnitude. Because once gratitude and generosity root themselves inside you, something crucial becomes possible, a level of stability that cannot be shaken by external chaos.
And this brings us to the next spiritual rule, one that reveals why peace does not survive without structure. If gratitude softens the heart and generosity expands it, discipline protects it. The 8th spiritual rule is simple but transformative. Peace cannot survive without structure. Jewish wisdom teaches that chaos is not the absence of resources, it is the absence of order. And financial chaos, more than any other kind, quietly drains a person's spirit until even small decisions feel overwhelming. Discipline, or musar, is the sacred structure that keeps your inner and outer worlds aligned. It is not rigidity, it is not punishment, it is not self-denial. Discipline, in its spiritual essence, is devotion to your future self. It is the willingness to build rhythms that support your peace instead of sabotaging it.
When life becomes uncertain, as it will in 2026, discipline becomes the anchor that prevents you from being swept away by panic or distraction. I once knew a man named Eli who earned a good income, yet lived in constant stress, not because he lacked money, but because his life lacked structure. Bills were paid late, not out of neglect, but because they were lost in piles of paper. Decisions were avoided, not out of irresponsibility, but because his mind felt cluttered. His home and finances mirrored the same condition: disorganization disguised as busyness. When he finally sought advice, a rabbi told him, "Peace is not found in having more, it's found in managing what you already have." Eli began with one small commitment, a weekly 15-minute session to review his finances. That rhythm became a ritual. The ritual became a habit.
The habit became a stabilizing force that quieted his anxiety, sharpened his clarity, and transformed his relationship with money. His peace did not arrive from earning more, it arrived from managing with intention. This is the principle. Discipline creates containers for peace. The habit became a stabilizing force that quieted his anxiety, sharpened his clarity, and transformed his relationship with money. His peace did not arrive from earning more, it arrived from managing with intention. This is the principle. Discipline creates containers for peace. Without containers, peace leaks. Without structure, clarity evaporates. Without routine, growth becomes inconsistent. Structure does not restrict you, it frees you. It prevents the emotional roller coaster that comes from random, impulsive, scattered living. Look at the natural world. The seasons follow order. The tides follow rhythm. The days follow cycles. Everything stable has routine. Everything peaceful has pattern. Your financial life is no different. Without rhythm, money becomes chaotic. With rhythm, money becomes peaceful. So ask yourself, where is the disorder that steals your peace?
Is it in your spending habits? Your time management? Your digital clutter? Your emotional boundaries? Your environment? Peace requires maintenance. Without discipline, even the most spiritual person becomes overwhelmed. But here's the gentle truth. You do not need to overhaul your entire life. You need one small structure at a time. One routine. One anchor. One rhythm that signals to your soul, I am creating a life that supports peace. And once that structure is in place, the final transformation becomes possible. Because discipline shapes behavior, but identity shapes destiny. The next spiritual rule ties everything together and reveals why the version of yourself you bring into 2026 determines the financial reality you will experience. Every spiritual rule you've learned so far leads here, to the deepest, most defining truth of all.
Your identity shapes your financial destiny, not your circumstances, not your opportunities, not your income. Who you believe you are is the silent architect of every financial decision you make, every habit you maintain, every risk you avoid, every opportunity you recognize or overlook. Jewish wisdom teaches that the world you see is the world you are. If you see scarcity everywhere, it is because scarcity lives within you. If you see danger in every decision, fear sits at the core of your identity. If you see possibility, confidence, and direction, it's because those qualities are active in your inner world. You do not see life as it is, you see it as you are. This is why two people can face the same financial challenge and walk away with completely different outcomes. The difference is not intelligence, it is identity. One person says, I can figure this out. Another says, I always mess things up. One moves with grounded intention. The other hesitates, spirals, or collapses. Identity determines behavior. Behavior determines results. And here lies the quiet tragedy. Most people are living inside identities they never chose. They inherited them. They absorbed them. They repeated them until they became unquestioned truths. I'm not good with money. I'm the anxious one. I can't trust myself with decisions. I always fall behind. These are not reflections. They are prisons. And you carry them into every new year, expecting new outcomes from an old identity. But identity is not fixed. Jewish tradition teaches that a person can recreate themselves through intention, speech, and consistent action. The mystics say, you become what you repeatedly declare. Science echoes this. Neural pathways reorganize based on the stories you reinforce.
Change your declaration, and you change your direction. So here is your invitation, your challenge, and your turning point. For the next 7 days, choose one identity phrase that matches the person you are becoming, not the person you've been. Speak it aloud every morning, not as fantasy, but as formation. Not as wishful thinking, but as spiritual engineering. 7 days matters. 7 represents completion, alignment, creation. Your phrase might be, I am someone who makes calm, wise financial decisions. I am becoming a grounded, capable steward of money. I am building a peaceful and abundant life. I am learning, growing, and strengthening every day. When you speak these words, you activate alignment. When you speak them consistently, you carve new pathways inside yourself.
When those pathways solidify, your financial life begins to mirror your new identity, quietly at first, then unmistakably. Because the truth is this, money does not change your identity changes your money. And now that all the spiritual rules are in place, all 7, you are ready for the final step, to seal this transformation with blessing, with purpose, and with a call to carry this wisdom into the year ahead. As we reach the final chapter of this journey, something profound becomes clear. The spiritual rules of money are not a set of theories. They are a way of being, a way of walking through 2026 with steadiness, clarity, and a sense of inner authority that no economic shift can take from you. Peace is not luck. Abundance is not accident. Stability is not coincidence. They are the natural consequences of living from the inside out. You began this journey by naming the old beliefs handed to you, beliefs that shaped your relationship with money long before you ever earned a dollar. And through each chapter, you learned how to loosen their grip. You learned that your inner state attracts or repels opportunity. You learned that clarity draws guidance toward you. You learned that your words shape the emotional climate of your financial life. You learned that movement, even tiny movement, breaks stagnation and restores peace. You learned that gratitude and generosity expand your vessel, allowing you to receive without fear. You learned that discipline gives peace a home. And finally, you learned that identity, your deepest self-perception, creates the boundaries of your financial destiny. These are not lessons for someday. They are lessons for the breath you are taking right now. Spiritual wisdom becomes real only when you live it. When you speak differently, move differently, choose differently, expect differently. 2026 will challenge many people, not because the world is dark, but because most will try to navigate it with old identities and unexamined beliefs. But you are now walking with ancient tools. Tools that have carried people through exile, rebuilding, uncertainty, and rebirth. Tools designed not just for survival, but for spiritual strength and financial peace. Before we close, I want to offer you the oldest blessing ever spoken over a life. A blessing for clarity, for protection, for abundance, and for the steadying of your spirit as you step into the year ahead. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift his countenance upon you and grant you peace.
Let that blessing settle into your chest. Let it wrap your days in quiet confidence. Let it touch your decisions, your work, your home, your relationships, your finances. Peace is not passive. It is a force, a shield, a guide. And now, one final act, simple, symbolic, but deeply meaningful. Share this video with 3 people you care about. 3 people who need spiritual grounding before 2026 begins. 3 souls who have been carrying financial fear alone. Your gesture may be the moment they finally breathe easier. Carry these spiritual rules with you. Revisit them.
Practice them. Speak them. Let them sharpen your intuition, strengthen your choices, and shape your identity. Because you are no longer stepping into 2026 hoping for peace. You are stepping into it as someone who creates peace.